So onto Xbox. This was the next day. This is like traditionally the first proper day of E3 when Xbox kicks everything off. So I was going in the same order because it was written in, I don't know, in biblical times or something. So they started off predictably with Halo 5, which looks kind of cool.
Looks nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave up on Halo after Halo 3, so I'm sort of less interested in it.
That's only one game. You only missed one game. I gave up after Halo 3.
Oh, did I? I thought, no, but then they started releasing ODST, stuff like that. I sort of gave up on the Halo franchise. I mean, but I think, no, what it was is that Halo was massively exciting when Halo 2 came out, bought it day one, Halo 3, bought it day one. And after Halo 3, I just got bored of it. I'm sure it's still going to be a good shooter and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's just, I'm not as excited as I'm sure a lot of people are.
And they then went out there and showed this, like, I don't know, I think it's 24-player warfare mode, which looked pretty interesting. You got 2 teams, you got AI involved, you all shoot at each other a load. It looked pretty cool. I'll probably never play it, to be honest, because when you get these games online, you get people who are dedicated to those games, and they get so good at them that then anyone else going into those games, you're going to die a lot, and that frustrates the hell out of me, because I used to be one of the people who was very good.
I'm exactly like that as well. So again, with Halo and with like Call of Duty as well. Call of Duty, I used to be able to go in there and be like, yeah, I could have good fun in Call of Duty. I played it recently and I thought, everyone's kicking my ass. Am I that bad at this? And yes, I was that bad at it.
That's why you need to quit your job and go full time on your Call of Duty leveling up.
Apparently, you're dead by 21 or 2 or something for playing like decently online.
See, I've heard people talk about reactions slowing down and stuff. Is that true?
Yeah.
Like, really? Yeah. 21, 22.
Something like that.
Jesus, how depressing is that?
Yeah.
Maybe they should do they should set up online gaming for the over, I don't know, 30s.
They should. It's a good idea.
Have we just come up with it?
Yeah. Because like when we're all 70 in a retirement home somewhere, actually we'll still be working at 70. When we're all 102 in a retirement home somewhere, we'll probably want to play like Halo 17 or something. But the kids would still beat us. They brought out Keiji Inafune of Mega Man fame to talk about this game called ReCore, which looked pretty interesting. It was like robots, predictably, with blue balls or red balls in them to signify whether or not they were evil or not. Giant blue balls.
Blimey.
Right in them.
Microsoft After Dark.
And I don't know, it was hard to tell again. It was another one of these where it was just a trailer rather than gameplay. It looked interesting. I'm sure with someone like him attached to it, it's probably going to be okay. Some of the people who made Metroid Prime are also making it, so chances are it's going to be a decent first-person shooter that we'll see in about 2 years' time and go, oh yeah, I remember that from E3 2015. And then they did their own bit of Fallout 4, but we'll skip past that because we've already talked about that. And then they went, bang, Xbox 360 games on your Xbox One. 100 of them by Christmas 2015. 1 million of them probably never. Yeah. And you don't like this, Dave.
Well, it's not that I don't like it. I loved it. When I heard it, I was jealous. In fact, as a PS4 owner, and I'm really unenthused by PS now, along with every other PS4 owner. Yeah, backwards compatibility. I mean, loads of people ask for it. As soon as a new system comes out, everyone's like, "Can I play my old games on it?" Because we don't give a crap about the new games. Yeah, but
John Major asking. I'm going to play my old games.
But but I don't know. So I looked more into the backwards compatibility thing. It's so they've got to get permission from the publishers to put their games on there. And what was the other thing? You've still got to own the game, so it's not like so the PS Now services.
Yeah, you got to own the game.
You've got to own the game.
Oh, Jesus!
So because the publishers have got that thing where they give the permission, you're realistically looking at the games that are worthwhile playing, or the games that people really want. There's demand for them there, and the publishers know there's demand for them there. And in this age of remasters, are they going to hold that back and put out a remaster? Or are they going to say, yeah, all right, play the old Xbox 360 game? If it could end up being brilliant, and it could end up being something that makes it worthwhile owning an Xbox One. I don't really see it. And also at the point E3, and they announced so many cool new games coming out, or at least look like cool new games coming out. Why are people so desperate to play old games? And it seemed like, I know there's always that kind of demand for backwards compatibility, but when it comes down to it, how many people actually really play much of their old games?
I believe it's something that people like the idea of more than they probably take advantage of. But I know you've been playing some Xbox 360 games quite recently.
So I'm still playing through the 360 catalogue. And like last night I was playing Quake 4, 10 years old. I actually, like you, I was well gel about this announcement. I suddenly thought this is pretty great news actually for Xbox One owners. And yeah, you're right. Compared to PS now, I think it blows it away. Because it seems quite seamless, and also it carries over any cloud saves you've got. So if you're halfway through Halo 3 or whatever, you can just pick it up straight away on the Xbox One. Yeah, I think it'll be a case of wait and see. There are like oodles of remasters coming out, and I think you're right. I think a lot of publishers will just say, well, hang on a minute, we're going to put this out as a 50 quid game rather than giving it away for free. Because the way it works is, if you bought it online and the publisher approves it, you just get the download straight away in your library. But also, if you own a disc copy, you stick the disc in and then you are entitled to download it for free. So,
see, this is how I thought PS Now would work. I thought that if I had the disc of God of War 3 or whatever, I'd whack it in my PlayStation, you'd go, oh yeah, you own that game, here's the stream. But it isn't how that bloody well works.
I do reckon they've got the ability to do that. I don't understand why it would be hard for it to recognise a disc and then go
something on the disc.
Yeah, we've got that on our streaming service. Here's your game.
I don't want it streaming though, because I've
no, but there's still the possibility to download it. I mean, there's still this. I don't understand why that's so hard.
But I guess
they've got to completely change.
The problem with PlayStation is that because the PlayStation 3 architecture was just so insane that supposedly it can't be replicated.
Yeah, no, that probably does make sense actually. But I mean, okay. Even if they could offer it to stream, I think the thing that for me that really sucks about the PlayStation Now is just how expensive it is, and even the subscription service, which when you look at how many games you're getting is considered relatively cheap. But I mean, how many games you're actually going to be playing? It's not that cheap at all. It's actually quite expensive. I almost think I'm surprised they've not put it in as even like an added package to your PS Plus service.
I reckon that'll come. I reckon there'll be a PS Plus service. And that'll be part of it.
I think this might have to force their arm because this is like a very. I mean, to be honest, of all the announcements at E3, this is probably the one that's going to sell the most consoles. Because if you're an Xbox 360 owner right now, you're looking at your games and going, fair enough, the Xbox One's a sensible choice for me now. Whereas before, you might have thought, well, the PS4, because it's got games I've not played, I didn't have a PS3. That's a sensible choice for me. But I think they've really caught up massively on PlayStation there. The other big thing for me, which is hopefully what they kind of suggested what will happen is, like you say, Jack, if you have a load of downloaded games, they'll just transfer automatically to your Xbox One. So suddenly all these cool games like Limbo or whatever else might start suddenly showing up on your Xbox One console. Yeah. Admittedly, I mean, they didn't say if it would maybe upscale the graphics or some games might look crap if they don't upscale anything. But I don't, to be honest,
that's only the ones that are going to be okay for backwards compatibility.
But I think in the end, most of them will be. And especially looking at that list, we've been looking at the list of ones that are available now, most of them are downloadable only games. So it seems to me that the chances are most downloadable only games will become backwards compatible and maybe a selection of the CD-based ones.
I think that's really great news because when you buy digital content, you don't know how long it's going to hang around for. So if it does transfer to the new console, you've got it for the life of that console as well, in theory.
But this comes to my other point on the so we talked about before. With that, that they can just pull it off digitally. So
they can pull it off, Dave. Yeah,
they're lucky. So the same with the backwards compatibility, though. As soon as they've got it up there, so it works like the disc thing, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Can they then pull that out and say, you know what? We're not going to allow the backwards compatibility on this because it's so popular, something that so many people are after. We actually do want to do.
Probably they could probably do whatever they want. I should think.
They might use it as a way to gauge. They could use it as a way to gauge like public reaction, like a perception of a game, and then go, actually, no, we'll launch that remaster of that after all. Yeah.
Yeah, and in which case, then that's not so much of a kind of a positive thing. I mean, I still. It was definitely the thing from the Microsoft conference that I suddenly thought, you know what, that is cool. That's going to be the thing that I'm going to have an argument with my mate about, who's an Xbox owner. But it wasn't, thinking about it more and slowing down a little bit on it, I kind of thought, do I care that much about backwards compatibility? I've got a Wii U, and one of the things there I was so excited about is like, I can play all my Wii games on Wii U. Have I done that? Of course I haven't.
Well, you've been too busy playing the rich Wii U library, haven't you?
I've been literally letting it collect some dust.
All right, let's move on. So they then went on to announce Xbox Early Access, which is also quite interesting. It's like Steam Early Access for your Xbox, where some games will come out before they're really out, and you can play them if you're part of the scheme. It's called like the Xbox Preview. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but it works like Steam Early Access. And then they also announced like £150 or $150 control pad for pros, whoever the hell pros.
They didn't mention the price though in the conference, did they?
I don't think they did. No, I think they just said, look, it's really shiny and you can disconnect all these buttons and do all these things. Oh no, and it's $150.
Do you know, when I was looking at videos on this, someone was like, okay, I get it, you know, if you're a professional gamer, and I thought, is there such a thing? Is there actually a thing? Other than a games tester, is there a thing as a professional
There
gamer?
are millionaire Call of Duty players from playing professional Call of Duty.
It's like a bit like poker, yeah. Like
you had to go and get a job, didn't you?
Yeah. God, I could have been.
Well, yeah, I mean, like there are people like that, and there's also like a massive scene in like Korea and stuff for StarCraft,
Dota 2. And
it's massive.
Oh God,
They play arenas.
this is mental. I should have got better at that instead of my low-paid.
I used to be decent at Counter-Strike. I was once like one of the top players in the world at a weird mod called Prison Break, I think it was called, for Half-Life 2 or Half-Life 1 even. Anyway, a youth lost. They then talked about Forza 6, which looked nice. Don't care about it because I don't do racing games, but I don't know if you guys do or care.
It's also like one of those exclusives that comes out every year, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. They either do Forza 6 or they do Forza, the other one, Horizon.
I mean, it's just that could be washed over. I don't think you need to really talk about Forza.
Then Mr. David Bloodborne Whiteman, they came out and talked about Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
Are you interested in going into this? Because it's going to be probably, they don't show any gameplay footage. It's probably going to be slower paced.
Yeah, no, I'm still quite interested actually. Yeah, I went back. I haven't played the Dark Souls series, and I looked back at some of the stuff, and it looks like I could probably enjoy it. You were saying yourself that you don't think you can go back to Dark Souls.
If it plays as slow as the first Dark Souls did, and Dark Souls 2, then it'll be a challenge because Bloodborne gave you the freedom that was lacking in those games in a way. It just made everything just feel more arcade-like, which actually helped the series have this feeling that if it goes back to the very plodding, very clunky, very encumbered combat of Dark Souls, it might be a step too far backwards. So I reckon they'll fudge it and they'll introduce some kind of speed into the game just to bridge that gap, because Bloodborne was a big leap. There's also a weird thing where this is a lot of Souls games in a short space of time. Admittedly, that Bloodborne was a exclusive on PlayStation, but it still feels like a lot of the same kind of game. I mean, it's not going to come out until spring 2016, I think they said. So there's time for the dust to settle on Bloodborne.
Well, I'm waiting for the Dark Souls 2 remaster to drop in price a little bit, and I'll get that on the PS4 and give that a go. But at the moment, it's a full price game, which I don't want to ever pay for remasters actually. So I'll hold back and wait for that to drop.
Well, we could consider doing that for Quit or Continue, because I would be really interested to know your thoughts on that compared to Bloodborne, because you'll see, if you've not played those games, you'll see the massive disparity in the speed between the games and the way they work, and it's the combat as well.
You know, Andy's going to listen to this and be like, no!
Somewhere. Andy's going grey somewhere. They then rolled out a couple of Ubisoft games, but we'll get back to them when we cover Ubisoft show, because they did the same games, but that was The Division, which looks good. Rainbow Six Siege also looks pretty good. Then there's a few kind of indie games, the best of which was Cuphead, which looks phenomenal.
Is that? I watched the video for that. Is that all boss fights? Because it just seemed to be like boss fight after boss fight.
It did say it was focusing on boss fights.
Oh,
actually.
right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But yeah, the art style looks amazing. I mean, it just looks incredible.
If you haven't seen it, it looks basically like Mickey Mouse on acid from the old school kind of 1950s.
Steamboat Mickey.
Yeah, Steamboat Mickey days, but the Mickey is...
Steamboat Willie, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Shit. There was my chance to show off my Disney knowledge.
Done you, Dave. Done you.
Yeah, man, that game looks so good. My only concern is I think this time last year it was shown as well, and they went, it'll probably come out soon. And then now I think they said 2016 for it, so it's a game that's been in development for a long old time.
Everything's coming out in 2016. It's going to be a busy year.
That's going to be a really busy year, actually, yeah.
Was this just Xbox and PC? Or just Xbox?
No, I think it's coming out on PS4 too.
Okay.
Well, actually, Xbox has got the most games coming out this year, haven't they?
Yeah, Sony has a massive hole in its Christmas time lineup.
Well, the only thing they've got is they've got Tearaway Unfolded and Drake's Collection, which sounds like a a cologne.
Or it sounds like a whip round for someone who's leaving the office. Have you seen Drake's collection? Oh yeah, I'll put a couple of quid in.
Man, so let's get to Rare. Obviously, British developer. They used to be good. They announced this thing called the Rare Replay, which is 30 games in one package, including things like Battletoads, which will drive people nuts. Looked like it had a Perfect Dark in there. I'm not sure if they can get away with putting GoldenEye in it. I haven't quite done the research.
I think I was speaking to Andy about this, and no, apparently that was because Nintendo own that, don't they? So no, they wouldn't let it go.
They had Conker, Banjo-Kazooie, from what I can gather, like a bunch of other things. And then they announced a new game, Sea of Thieves, which was like an MMORPG looking thing. Looked a bit like Destiny, but pirates. Very cartoony, very Rare, but then not really the game that I think will reignite them.
No.
Let's just leave it in now. And then Microsoft came out with HoloLens and demoed Minecraft and been able to pull and manipulate the world as if you were some sort of god. And then I could just imagine my wife staring at me whilst I'm doing this and probably divorcing me.
It just looks like bollocks. I remember when they showed off the Kinect demo, like way back in the day, and there was a kid scanning a skateboard and then like scanning himself into the game and stuff, and it's like everyone's going, wow, this is amazing. And then Kinect came out and all it did was like track your limbs, and that was it. So it's just I think all these demos have got to be taken with a pinch of salt from Microsoft, because they promise the earth and then they can't deliver. And also sorry, no, go on.
Well, I was going to say I was quite impressed by HoloLens, and like, in theory, and it looks fantastic. I mean, it looks brilliant. But even if it works, as they're showing it works, who the hell is going to be using this thing? And who the hell is? I mean, it's going to be hard enough getting VR into the houses of people, but the HoloLens is even more random and more out there than VR. It just doesn't seem like something that's actually ever going to become.
It just seems like a gimmick. It's like augmented reality. There's like a sort.
It is augmented
reality.
reality.
I guess it is. There was a burst of that a few years ago, and Nintendo made a big thing about it with the 3DS. Or the 3DS. Yeah. And it came to nothing. Like hardly.
It's on the Vita as well, actually, isn't it?
There's little cards down on the table and things come out of the cards.
Invisimals.
Yeah.
But I think I can see some games where it'd be quite cool. I imagine playing Populous with this. That'd be amazing, because that'd be a really cool way to do it. But
that is Minecraft is Populous, but for kids, isn't it? Like for today's kids.
I guess so, maybe. But I just don't see it. I just don't know what the applications are. And like you say, it'll be expensive and restrictive, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. You're looking at me like I should say something.
Well, no, I was thinking. So HoloLens. So when my Xbox friend was talking about the Xbox conference, he talked about two of the main things were backwards compatibility. Fair enough. And there's three: backwards compatibility, the controller, and HoloLens. So 3 bits of hardware stuff. No talk about games.
Was he really excited about the controller?
He mentioned the controller. It wasn't he was really excited, but he was like, yeah, this new controller. So I kind of thought, well, yeah, but let's really look at the new controller. It's outrageously expensive. You're not going to use it. So 2 of those things I think are quite niche. So the controller and the HoloLens. I mean, HoloLens is, for me, it's not an Xbox only thing anyway. It's going to be a Microsoft. It's going to be. They've
already shown you can use Windows 10 desktop with it, and do some weird. I don't know. You can go start menu. Start menu. I mean, in terms of all the kind of Google Glass alternatives, this has been the more interesting idea, but I don't see it ever becoming a thing. So, I mean, of the things that are the most exciting to come out of the Xbox conference, I was a bit kind of like, actually, when you look at it, that's not that interesting, really. I mean, HoloLens is a cool concept, but it's just not something that anyone's ever going to use. But still, it was a nice demo, and it certainly woke people up a little bit, didn't it? But they finished probably with some other stuff, but the main thing was Gears of War. First, they had the Ultimate Collection, which is just the first game, I think, but reskinned. I was thinking to myself,
only one game?
I think so. And I was thinking to myself, again with the backwards compatibility thing, surely they should go, well, Gears of War is backwards compatible, but no, there is like a $50 game probably that's come out £50.
And this says even more as well, because they've just rebuilt I saw some kind of thing they were rebuilding the whole thing. I didn't realise it was actually just the first game. So if they've rebuilt the whole thing,
I could be wrong. Internet, if I am wrong,
I think
I am sorry.
If they're doing 2 and 3, they've not mentioned it at all.
Okay.
It does seem incredibly cheap, especially in light of Drake's collection.
well, yeah.
Well, and the Master Chief Collection, which admittedly didn't work, but was a pretty amazing for value for money, given the amount of games in it.
Well, you can also guarantee if Gears of War, the HD remake, whatever is popular, there's no way you're getting the rest of them as backwards compatible because they'll just remake them.
Yeah.
They've already done it with the first one. They just need to do the maps and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
It's as easy as that.
And then Gears of War 4, of course, has been announced. I'm not sure if they put a date on it. I think it's probably going to be a 2017 game if we're really honest. I think they might have said winter 2016 actually, so it's kind of like a Christmas 2016 game.
It looked nice.
Fine. It looked like Gears of War,
very
and I'm a
dark.
bit bored of Gears of War.
I know, yeah. I mean, I played the first one and I thought it was just okay.
Really? I loved it.
I've not played anything. I think Anders is a big fan, isn't he?
He's a big fan, yeah.
But
Not of Judgment, though. He hates it.
not famously not of Judgment, as he will tell you repeatedly. He's got the lowest score on Metacritic for Judgment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I love multiplayer on Gears of War. It's a game that feels like after 3 games, it needs to offer, 4 games actually, it needs to offer something new and different, and I didn't see that in that trailer.
No, it'll be another Gears of War game, I think. I can't imagine it being anything other than that. But then that's what people are after with these kind of games, aren't they? I mean, the game with Halo, like, are people after a new experience from Halo, or are they just after more of the same? And I'm sure it's more of the same with nicer graphics.
They have slightly changed it in that they've put aiming, like down the sight, aiming into it and things like that now. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be the same.
Yeah.
Anyway, then how long have we got left till we run out of power and
No, we're going fine, yeah.
awesome.